your marriage settlement, essentially a contract specifying what money and property you bring to the marriage and what will happen to it afterward. My solicitor has drawn up some preliminary papers, Thomas says, all business now. I'd be happy to review them with you tomorrow, sir. Excellent, your father approves. And as for the wedding date, I was thinking perhaps 3 months hence, Thomas suggests. Enough time for proper preparations, but not so long a wait as to be trying. Is that a hint of impatience in his voice? A suggestion that he's eager to begin your life together? The thought sends a small thrill through you. 3 months seems appropriate, your mother agrees. Long enough for a proper trousseau to be prepared, but not so long that society might gossip. Because that's another Victorian rule. Engagements shouldn't be too short, suggesting impropriety or necessity, or too long, suggesting reluctance or problems. 3 months is just right. Thomas stays for dinner, his first meal as your official fiancé. The conversation flows easily, with a new warmth between your families. Plans are made, dates discussed, futures envisioned. Through it all, you catch Thomas watching you with an expression of wonder, as if he can't quite believe his good fortune. When he finally leaves, he bows over your hand, holding it perhaps a moment longer than strictly proper. "Until tomorrow, Jane," he says softly. "Until tomorrow, Thomas," you reply, enjoying the newness of his given name on your lips. The next 3 months pass in a whirlwind of preparations. Your engagement is announced in the newspapers. Congratulatory calls and cards pour in. Your mother and Mrs. Fairchild meet frequently to plan the wedding breakfast and coordinate other details. Your days fill with fittings for your trousseau, the extensive wardrobe a bride brings to her marriage, morning dresses, afternoon dresses, evening gowns, walking outfits, riding habits, nightgowns, dressing gowns, undergarments, gloves, bonnets, shoes, shawls. Everything a well-dressed Victorian wife might need for at least the first year of marriage. Then there's your wedding dress, the most important gown of your life. Pure white, of course, as Queen Victoria made white wedding dresses fashionable when she married Prince Albert. Yards of silk and lace, with a train long enough to impress, but not so long as to be ostentatious. A veil of delicate Brussels lace. White satin slippers. Every detail perfect. Your hope chest fills with linens, bedsheets, tablecloths, napkins, handkerchiefs. Many of them you've embroidered yourself over the years, preparing for this moment even before you knew who your husband would be. Between preparations, you see Thomas regularly but never alone. Victorian propriety means that even engaged couples are chaperoned. You take walks in the park with your mother following discreetly behind. You attend dinner parties and balls together, but always in public view. You exchange letters, the only private communication allowed, in which you gradually share more of yourselves than social settings permit. In these letters, you discover a depth to Thomas that his public persona barely hints at. He writes of his hopes for your future together, his admiration for your mind, his desire to be a husband worthy of you. Nothing improper, nothing that couldn't be read aloud in company, but sincere and increasingly affectionate. 2 weeks before the wedding, the Fairchilds host a dinner party for both families. It's a chance for extended relatives to meet before the ceremony. Your aunts, uncles and cousins size up Thomas's family and vice versa. The dinner is a success. Both families are well-mannered, prosperous and respectable. No embarrassing relatives to cause concern. Your cousin Emily seems taken with my cousin William, Thomas murmurs to you during a moment when others are distracted. Perhaps another match in the making? You follow his gaze to where Emily is laughing at something William has said. Perhaps, you agree, they would suit well. Not as well as we do, Thomas says, his voice low and warm. Such a simple statement, yet it sends colour rushing to your cheeks. Even now, weeks into your engagement, his direct attention can fluster you. A proper Victorian lady isn't supposed to show such transparent reactions, but Thomas seems pleased rather than scandalised by your blush. The final week before the wedding is a blur of last-minute arrangements. Your wedding gifts are displayed in the drawing room. Silver services, crystal decanters, fine china, ornate clocks and vases. Guests come to admire them and offer their congratulations yet again. The night before your wedding, your mother comes to your bedroom as Mary brushes your hair for the last time in your childhood home. Tomorrow, you'll move into the Fairchild's townhouse, where you and Thomas will have your own suite of rooms. I wanted to speak with you, your mother says, dismissing Mary with a nod. About tomorrow night. This is it. The Victorian version of the talk. Proper young ladies are kept so innocent that many go to their wedding nights with only the vaguest idea of what to expect. Your mother, progressive for her time, believes you should have at least some preparation. Marriage brings physical intimacies, she begins awkwardly. It is a wife's duty to submit to her husband's needs. It may be uncomfortable at first, but a lady endures with dignity. Not the most encouraging description of marital relations, but typical of Victorian attitudes. Women aren't supposed to enjoy physical intimacy. That would be unseemly. They merely tolerate it as a duty and for the purpose of having children. The most important thing, your mother continues, is to establish a harmonious household. Be attentive to Thomas's comfort. Never contradict him in public. Maintain a serene environment where he can rest from the pressures of business. This advice reflects the Victorian ideal of separate spheres. Men belong to the public world of business and politics, women to the private world of home and family. Your role as a wife is to create a peaceful haven for your husband and manage the household efficiently. I believe you and Thomas will be very happy, your mother concludes, patting your hand. He seems a kind man, and he clearly adores you. Thank you, mother, you say, touched by her concern for your happiness even as you find her advice somewhat lacking. I believe we will be happy too. That night you sleep little, your mind too full of tomorrow and all it will bring. The end of your life as Miss Jane Wilson, the beginning of your life as Mrs. Thomas Fairchild. Your wedding day dawns clear and bright. The ceremony is at 11 o'clock at St. George's Church, Hanover Square, the fashionable choice for society weddings. You're dressed with extreme care. First the finest undergarments from your trousseau, then the beautiful white gown with its fitted bodice and full skirt, the delicate veil arranged over your carefully styled hair. You look beautiful, miss, Mary says, tears in her eyes. Begging your pardon, but you do. Thank you, Mary, you reply, genuinely moved. Mary has been with you for years, helping you navigate the complex world of Victorian womanhood. I'll miss you. You'll have your own lady's maid at your new home, Mary reminds you. Mrs. Fairchild has hired someone with experience serving married ladies. Another reminder of how your life is about to change. Even your personal servants will be different. The carriage ride to the church passes in a blur. Your father, resplendent in formal mourning clothes, helps you down and offers his arm to escort you inside. The church is filled with flowers and the rustle of fine fabrics as the guests stand to watch your entrance. And there at the altar is Thomas, looking more handsome than ever in his wedding clothes. His face as he watches you walk toward him contains such open admiration that you nearly stumble. No one has ever looked at you quite that way before. The ceremony is traditional and dignified. You speak your vows in a clear voice, promising to love, honor, and obey. Thomas slips a gold band onto your finger to join your engagement ring. The vicar pronounces you man and wife. Thomas is permitted to raise your veil and kiss you chastely on the cheek, the first time his lips have touched your skin. Just like that, you're married. Mrs. Thomas Fairchild. A new identity, a new status, a new life. The wedding breakfast that follows is elegant but not ostentatious. Your parents have spent generously but not extravagantly, a fine line in Victorian society where showing off wealth is considered vulgar. Champagne flows, delicate foods are served, speeches are made. You sit beside Thomas at the head table, still somewhat dazed by the morning's events. "Are you happy, Jane?" Thomas asks quietly during a moment when others are distracted by the cake being cut. "Very happy," you assure him. And it's true. Despite the whirlwind nature of Victorian courtship, despite the rigid social rules that have shaped every moment of your relationship, you've come to care deeply for this man, perhaps even to love him, though Victorian propriety means you've never used that word aloud. After the breakfast, you change from your wedding gown into a smart travelling outfit. You and Thomas will spend 2 weeks at his family's country estate in Kent, a modest honeymoon by modern standards, but typical for the time. The goodbyes are emotional but restrained. Excessive displays of feeling would be inappropriate. Your mother hugs you briefly. Your father shakes Thomas's hand and kisses your cheek. And then you're in the carriage, husband and wife, finally alone together for the first time. Thomas takes your hand, his thumb gently caressing your palm. "Well, Mrs. Fairchild," he says, his voice warm with affection, "shall we begin our adventure?" You smile, a genuine smile without the restraint Victorian society usually demands. "Yes," you say simply. "Let's." The carriage pulls away, taking you toward your new life. Behind you, wedding guests throw rice and flower petals for luck and fertility. Ahead lies the unknown territory of marriage, its challenges, its joys, its intimate discoveries. Victorian society has rigid rules for wives, just as it does for unmarried ladies. You'll be expected to run your household efficiently, oversee servants, receive and make social calls, engage in appropriate charitable work, and eventually, God willing, become a mother. Your world will still be constrained by proprieties and expectations. But as Thomas's fingers intertwine with yours, as his eyes meet yours with warmth and promise, you can't help feeling that within those constraints, you and Thomas might find your own way. A partnership not just of convenience or social suitability, but of genuine affection and respect. The carriage rolls through London streets toward the Kent Road. Thomas points out sights along the way, his voice animated in a way you've rarely heard in public. You respond with observations of your own, delighting in this new freedom to converse without chaperones, monitoring every word. By the time you reach the countryside, dusk is falling. The rolling hills of Kent are bathed in golden light, the hedgerows casting long shadows across the fields. It's peaceful after the bustle of London, the air fresh and sweet with the scent of spring flowers. "Almost home," Thomas says, as the carriage turns onto a tree-lined drive. "Well, one of our homes. We'll divide our time between London and here, if that suits you." "It suits me very well," you assure him, touched that he seeks your opinion. Many Victorian husbands simply inform their wives of decisions rather than consulting them. The house comes into view. Not a grand mansion, but a handsome country house of warm red brick with white-trimmed windows. Lights glow welcomingly in the gathering dusk. Servants stand ready at the entrance to greet the new master and mistress. As the carriage stops, Thomas squeezes your hand gently. "Welcome home, Jane." And despite all the rules and restrictions of Victorian society, despite the whirlwind courtship and the uncertainties that lie ahead, you feel a sense of rightness. This is where you belong. With this man, in this life, you'll build together. The butler opens the carriage door. Thomas steps down first, then turns to help you descend. His hands at your waist are strong and sure as he lifts you down. For a moment you stand close together in the golden evening light, no longer bound by the strict chaperoning rules of courtship. "Shall we?" Thomas asks, offering his arm. You place your hand on his arm, feeling the solid warmth of him beneath the fine wool of his coat. "Yes," you say. "Let's go home." Together, you climb the steps toward your new life, leaving behind the constraints of unmarried Victorian womanhood and stepping into the different but no less complex world of Victorian marriage. There will be new rules to learn, new expectations to meet, but you'll face them together, finding your own happiness within the structures society has built around you. As night falls gently over the Kent countryside, as stars appear one by one in the deepening blue of the sky, you and Thomas cross the threshold of your new home. The future stretches before you, unknown but full of promise, and with that, close your eyes and drift off to sleep, letting the echoes of Victorian London fade into dreams.